That doesn't make you feel too good about your star. No, your star. That doesn't make you feel too good about a guy that you're really leaning on, that if he isn't traded to come back next year and be better than ever and all that, that doesn't make you feel good about it. And I have heard a lot of these things about Ben Simmons already. I've heard that you can't control these guys as players. It's like herding cats. They do their own thing. And Ben is right there with everybody else, that he is just not the type of guy to either put in work or is not the type of guy to listen to people around the team, whether that be a coach, whether that be the front office, whether that be the owner of the team. I mean, I've heard Ben Simmons ignoring Josh Harris. You can't listen to the owner of the team or the investor, as they say now in the NBA. It doesn't sound like somebody that you want on your team. I have defended Ben when it comes to hard work, when it comes to putting in work on a shot. But now, over the last year, especially after this playoff series, you can't defend it. There's no, oh, no, he really goes after it. Because to be honest with you, with COVID and everything, I haven't been down to a practice. I've barely been down to games to watch him work out. I can tell you when I was there the other night for Game 7, he spent the vast majority of warm-up standing on the free throw line trying to get the work in then. Now, that's one thing, but I don't see how that makes anybody better in the moment. Because if anyone's ever played grade school basketball, intramural basketball, you know the time to get free throw practice in is not during pregame warm-ups when there's 1,000 basketballs flying all over the place. That's not the time to get that work in. That work's got to be put in the gym when you're shooting 100, 200 free throws a day. That work is not to be done in a crash course segment. You know what? It does make you think about vanity a lot. Let me get the work in where everyone's in the arena. They're coming in, and now they're going to know that I'm on the foul line getting the work in. Like, that's a lot about vanity. It's not necessarily about getting better. But hearing this again from Stephen A. Smith, and I think it comes from a coach. I don't think it comes from Daryl Morey. I think it comes from a coach. Do I necessarily think it was Doc Rivers? Yeah, probably, but that's just sheer speculation on my part. But I would speculate to say that it's at least coming from a coach. When you say he doesn't listen, I think that comes from a coach. Whether that's Daryl Morey, whether that's Sam Cassell, whoever it might be. The fact that you get he doesn't listen, that I think comes from a coach. And this isn't the first time that we have heard these types of things about Ben Simmons. And I know people will jump to, oh, but what about the videos where he's got his shirt off and he's shooting from the outside and he's working really hard and he's all sweaty and his form is up and looking good. Yeah, that's, again, vanity. Look what I'm doing. I'm putting in work. It just doesn't make much sense to me. But what's wild is, this is it. This is the make or break for Ben Simmons. The next couple of months are the make or break moments for Ben Simmons as to whether or not you're going to get a guy back for the start of next season that is going to be a new and improved Ben Simmons, which means, and this is what I mean when I say new and improved, I mean at least a 70% free throw shooter. And yeah, I'd love him to be 90. Don't get me wrong, but I'm trying to maintain realistic expectations here. Getting a guy in here that's a 70% free throw shooter at least, and a guy that with those 70% shots made from the free throw line is scoring you 20 points a game. That's a guy the Sixers can use. Oh, and a guy that can facilitate? Okay. A guy that's going to create more spacing by the fact that he has a little bit of a mid-range game, by the fact that he, if he drives a lane and he gets fouled, he can go to the line and create points that way as well. Yeah, I'm going to go into, and also a guy that was the runner-up in the Defensive Player of the Year voting. Yeah, I want that guy on my team. The guy I don't want on my team is the guy that's passing up dunks under the basket in the playoffs of Game 7. So, yeah, that's not the guy I want on my team. If he does put in the work in the offseason, which now just seems like it's impossible. And one of the other things I've heard, and ESPN did a great job with this with Magic Johnson. Magic Johnson all but recruited Ben Simmons to the Lakers over the last couple of days by saying that he needs to get with a veteran player, one that he'll listen to, one that he respects, and that'll get the best out of Ben Simmons. Okay, LeBron James is who he means. He means going to the Lakers. That's what he means. That's what Magic Johnson means. And that might be the case. But I thought one of the reasons that the Sixers were moving on from Brett Brown was to bring in a more authoritative voice, someone who's won in this league, someone who's been a player in this league, and that's why they brought in Doc Rivers, and that's the guy that Ben Simmons would eventually listen to. And unfortunately, that wasn't the case because it seems like we're getting a lot of the same stuff, the same old Ben Simmons. And I give Brett Brown a lot of credit for at least going out publicly and saying, you know what, I want Ben Simmons to shoot 1 3-pointer and 8 free throws a game. That's what I'm Tell the media, tell his agent, tell everybody. That's what I want from Ben Simmons. And when I heard that in the moment last year, my mind jumped to, I'm Brett Brown. I've tried everything. I've tried everything with Ben Simmons. I've tried getting to him in practice. I tried getting to him in warmups. I've had my assistant coaches talk to him. I've talked to his camp to try to persuade him to do this a little bit differently, and I can't get to him a little bit. So here I am at a press conference talking to you about what I want to see from Ben Simmons. A public challenging was the throw your hands up in the air type of moment if you're Brett Brown saying, I don't know what to do with this guy. And then if you remember, when push really came to shove, it was Brett Brown saying Shake Milton's going to bring the ball up in the bubble last year before Ben Simmons got hurt. If it's a made basket, Shake, you bring it up. If it's transition, then Ben, you're going to bring it up. To me, that was the ultimately Brett Brown just throwing his hands in the air saying, I don't know what I can do with this guy. So the Sixers said, all right, you know what? Let's bring in a more authoritative voice. Let's bring in someone that'll respect. Doc Rivers, same Ben Simmons. You got a great Ben Simmons for 10 games in February. I hate to keep on going back to it, but 70%, 21 points per game. Yeah, that's pretty damn good. I'll take that guy a lot. Oh, and the occasional 3? Yeah. Hell yeah. But if he's not willing to put in the work like Stephen A is talking about, yeah, I don't know what to I don't know what to tell you. Other than the fact that he can't be here. That's really the bottom line. If the Sixers do have this feeling that Ben is not going to listen, that he's not going to improve, and he's just going to be the same guy coming into this season who does other things well, like, that's great. Do other things well. Continue to do them great. Do them extremely well. But the no improvement, if this wasn't a sign to you, Ben Simmons, what happened to his team in the postseason, if this wasn't a sign to you that you need to improve, then I've been watching the same guy that I've been watching since LSU, which is that disinterested guy I told you about yesterday. Oh, he'll get a shot. He'll improve. He was a 67% free throw shooter at LSU. Oh, he didn't care. It doesn't matter. Do you ever want to see a guy who's supposed to be a great competitor, a professional athlete? Do you ever want to see that guy not care? Because that's exactly what you had at LSU. Same type of player, same type of mentality. Little incremental improvements defensively, nothing huge. Facilitator, same thing. Everything that could have gone wrong with Ben to this point has gone wrong. See him at LSU. Oh, he doesn't care. It's college. Okay. See him at the pros. Still not putting in the work. That's the report now, 5 years later. That's not good. Oh, you can give him a max contract. That shot will come along. Oh, so you're going to reward him before you get what you want. Seems dicey. Don't know about that one. Oh, you're going to trade away Jimmy. You're going to let Jimmy Butler walk. You're going to trade away Jimmy Butler to appease Brett, to appease Ben. That doesn't seem like it's working too well either. What else are we going to do here? Oh, we're going to give him an all-star appearance 3 times. That blew up in your face. Unbelievable. Coming up in a minute, we're going to hear from Dwight Howard. He took to social media for a second time in the last 4 days trying to defend his teammate. And to be honest with you, I was in no mood to hear this stuff yesterday. We'll get to that in our Morning Rush segment. Before we talk to Barstool Smitty, yesterday there was a Phillies game, and now our attention will shift a little bit more towards the Phils. As you know, basketball's done and football, it doesn't start for another month or so here. Here's what I got with this little Phillies thing that happened yesterday. First off, Rhys Hoskins, top of the zone home run, tomahawked one out of the park yesterday. Bryce Harper put one on the upper deck off Max Scherzer. Those were your 2 runs for the Phillies yesterday. But this thing that's going on right now in Major League Baseball is just insane to me. This is what it's come to, where you have to frisk pitchers in Major League Baseball. This was the answer. Like, I understand sometimes if you've tried everything else, if you're threatening fines, whatever it might be, that you need to take the next step of embarrassing. First off, Major League Baseball's Players Association, I don't know how this just all of a sudden became okay. Like, oh yeah, you could randomly, like, drug tests back in the day couldn't be random, and that was the Players Association. And now you're and I understand it's not as extreme as a drug test, it's not as invasive, but now you're basically calling out these pitchers in front of stadiums of people, and you're going, all right, show me your belt buckle, show me the bill of your cap. All right, show me what you have on your pants. Like, you're frisking these pitchers essentially to see if they're cheating or not. This is what it's come to. This is the answer to this. And I know a lot of people, oh, these babies, they got to listen. Yeah, no, I got to be honest with you. I'm more on the player side for this than anything. And it's like Major League Baseball gets this one little victory, about being able to check pitchers for cheating. And then when the contract's up, when they have to go through the collective bargaining agreement, which, as we all know, went so great during the pandemic, it feels like Major League Baseball gets this one little win, and then Players Association will be like, all right, guess what? Minimum salary now is $30 million. Like, congratulations on being able to check a pitcher's belt buckle. We want $30 million per player as the minimum salary. Like, that's how it's going to go. Oh, we're not going to get that? Okay, guess what? Baseball's over for a year. Baseball's over for 2 years. Lockout is coming. It's imminent. There's no denying it. And just to watch the silliness that's going on right now in Major League Baseball, it's like, do you guys have any freaking clue what you're doing? Do you have any idea how to run an organization of any kind, really? Because baseball really doesn't seem to be it for you. And frisking pitchers doesn't really seem to be it either. Like, you watch something and you just go, man, this ain't it. Yeah, that's what it looks like right now in Major League Baseball. It's an embarrassment. Like, I'm like embarrassed to tell people that I'm a baseball first guy with what's going on in the sport. I've told you, if you want to see more offense, just eliminate the shift. Like, you don't have to move the mound back, right? You don't have to be frisking pitchers. Just eliminate the shift, and enough offense will happen. Enough offense will fall into place. And guess what? We'll all be better people for it after that. It's absolutely ridiculous. And what happened in last night's game goes more to this, because in the fourth inning of last night's game, Max Scherzer, first off, every baseball game I've looked at in the last couple of games, and I've watched a couple of games because I'm trying to keep track of this. And yes, I am still betting balls and strikes, which is probably why it's jumping out to me even more so. It seems like these pitchers just don't have the control anymore. And I watched Max Scherzer pitch inside to Alec Boehm yesterday in the fourth inning. Then I think it was a 2-2 count, and he went high and tight. Or it was a 1-2 count, and he went high and tight to Alec Boehm, knocking Alec Boehm to the ground. During that inning, Joe Girardi looks out at Max Scherzer and says, something's not right here. Check him again. So he signals for the umpires to go out and check Max Scherzer for illegal substances, for sticky stuff, to see if he's doctoring the ball at all. So he's checked in the first inning. He's checked in the third inning by baseball rules. And then Joe Girardi had him checked out again in the fourth inning. Here's Joe Girardi. Well, first off, I also want to tell you this. So Max Scherzer gets out of the inning. Then in the following inning, the fifth inning, he's walking off the field and he's staring down Joe Girardi the entire time. Now, while Joe Girardi asked for him to be checked in the fourth inning, Scherzer was visibly upset. The whole time he was upset. In the first inning, they showed him kind of like, hey, here's everything. What do you want from me? Here we go. You can tell he was annoyed. Third inning, same thing. When Joe Girardi asked for him to get checked out in the fourth inning, he was even more perturbed. He was even more irked by it. And I got to be honest, I thought at first Joe Girardi was messing with Max Scherzer to try to take him off his game. Because by that point, the Phillies only had one run on the board. And he had seen how emotional Max Scherzer was and how annoyed he was about getting checked. And I was like, is this just some gamesmanship with Joe Girardi? Is he trying to get in Max Scherzer's head a little bit here? Now, Scherzer ended up still winning the battle, so ultimately the victory goes to him. But I thought, is this a little bit of gamesmanship from Joe Girardi? Then in the fifth inning, Max Scherzer walks off the hill after ending the inning, and he's just staring down Joe Girardi. Joe Girardi then jumps out of the dugout and starts saying, let's go, to Max Scherzer and to the Nationals dugout, which is just dumb. Joe, have some control over yourself. I get it's an emotional time, right? We're all, whatever. But there's no need for that if you're the manager of this ball club.